What's up, YouTube? We have a beautiful day here today in Southwest Michigan, and I decided to get the gold cube set up here at home on a recirculating setup. And I have a couple of different buckets of material from some different areas on the St. Joe River, and we are going to try those buckets out and see if we have some gold in them today. I loaned out my truck today, and it's got a lot of my panning supplies in it, so I'm going to be using the old-fashioned method here with the trowel rather than my scoop that I would typically use. We're going to start with this red bucket here. We're going to run this through. Yeah, there's some decent sized pieces of gravel in here. Not too bad all in all. Really nice with that trommel. Just being able to scoop right into it. I feel like I'm seeing some good layers of black sand in here, so I'm hoping that that's a good sign as I'm scooping into it. I feel like I'm seeing some promising looking dirt in this here bucket. There have been a few decent sized pieces of cobble in that bucket. This is actually one of the smaller ones that I've hand washed so far, but I'm cleaning those off really good, making sure we're not leaving anything behind. Looks like we're getting some really good water flow across all the mats. Water's getting fairly dirty in this recirculating setup, but I think we're good to go. All the sediment is being caught in this tub that I've got here. So even though the water looks dirty, my pump is actually fairly safeguarded from sediment back there in a classifier. And then I've got the larger stones that are coming out of the trommel landing in that bucket. Of course, I'll probably have to empty all this out at the end of this first bucket and clean it all up before we go to the next bucket. Just about done with that first bucket. I'm gonna get the rest of that kind of washed out, scooped out, and put into here. We're gonna give it a few minutes to run through, and then we'll do our first cleanup. It's looking pretty decent. I think we're gonna cut the water to it, clean up, get it all over here in this empty blue pan, and we're gonna see how much gold's in there. There we go. Those dream mats clean out so nice and easy. There we go. Looks good. Last but not least, the conveyor mat. I left my jet dryer in the truck. I actually forgot to put a little bit of soap in the recirculating setup though. I'll put some Dawn dish soap in there and try and break that surface tension just in case any gold wants to float in here. We'll get this all dumped out here once it's had a second to settle. I'll get that into that pan. Looks like a good amount of black sand in there. I'm gonna classify out all those small stones just to make my life a little bit easier. Let me get a classifier and a pan. There's what we'll do. We'll use this classifier and this pan. That pan's nice and cleaned out. Okay, let me decide how I want to do this. Actually worked out pretty good. Not too many small stones, not too bad. Perfect. Not too bad. I'm gonna get some more water in here. We'll pan this out. Well, that first bucket did leave a little bit to be desired. There is about 10 pieces of color there. Not all that big. Unfortunately, not as much as I thought we were going to get out of that bucket for as much black sand as I was seeing in there. There was a halfway decent amount of black sand, but unfortunately only about 9-10 little pieces of color there. So I'm going to get this all set up to run the next bucket through. And this is a shorter bucket, but it looks a lot more gravelly. So maybe this bucket will hold some better gold for us. We're going to find out. And then once I'm done with all that, I've got some other stuff that I'm just going to run through since I have it set up. Stuff that I've collected, concentrates that I wanted to rerun, all that kind of stuff. But this video is primarily just going to be running those two sample buckets from the St. Joe River. I have been very impressed ever since I installed these micro mats from Prospector's Dream in my gold cube. I have a lot less concentrates that I have to go through, and also I was really impressed with the catch rate on them. So if you're considering upgrading your gold cube to Prospector's Dream mats like I did, please use the affiliate link in the description to this video, and that will apply the coupon code MyMichiganAdventures and give you a discount on your order. They also have a wide variety of other prospecting equipment as well, so if you've never checked out their website, check that out and consider using the affiliate link. Thanks. Okay, we've got everything cleaned out. Got a little bit of Dawn dish soap circulating through there. Got my wash station cleaned out and ready. And I even set this bucket up on top of another bucket, so it's a little bit shorter distance for me to scoop each scoop into the trommel. So I believe we are ready to go on this. Oh, yep, I think this bucket looks really promising. This is super gravelly. The other one had a decent amount of gravel in it, but this one seems like a lot more so. So, a little bit of stuff on the top of it there, but some organic material, some sticks and some other things that are kind of mixed in, but the trommel ought to do a fairly decent job of getting that all filtered out of there. Okay, well, I will proceed to run this through and we'll see how we end up. Always be careful when running material. You can never know when you're going to run across a big chunk of glass. Thankfully, I did not cut myself on this. I saw it before I ended up getting hurt by it. But it's not a bad idea to wear gloves. At the very least, just make sure you're exercising a little bit of caution when you're reaching in and, you know, poking and prodding around, clearing a jam in your trommel, or, you know, scooping by hand in your material. Getting just about down to the bottom of this bucket here, and this has been gravelly all the way through, really gravelly. This looks a little bit more consistent with the area that I was having some good luck in the last time I was out there. So I am hoping that will fare better with this bucket, even though it was a smaller bucket. We have less material overall. I'm hoping that we'll still end up with better gold out of this. But we'll find out in the cleanup. Okay, now that we're through that bucket, I'm gonna get the cube torn apart. We're gonna get the trays washed out in that tub over there, and I'm gonna screen the material out into that little gold pan over there. So hang around, I'm gonna get it all in the pan, and we're gonna see what we're working with here. I'm doing two different classifications on my cons here to see if I can maybe catch some of the finer stuff, and it's hard to tell, but I do have quite a few pieces of really fine flour up in that corner there. So I'm going to keep walking this back. Good amount of black sand though. And then over in there I have the coarser stuff that I'll be going through right when I'm done with this. Well, we ended up with about 20 pieces of color out of that first classification there of the finer material. Quite a bit of black sand and 20 little pieces of gold there. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna pop on over and start panning through the coarser stuff, and hopefully there's some more gold in that. I think my battery was getting low when I was finishing up that run on that last bucket, because it did not wash away nearly as much of the lighter sediment as what I had hoped. So this round of cleanup has been a lot more panning. Okay, we have it reduced down, and now all I got to do is wash this back and see how much gold we have. So far so good. I've got a few pieces of color over there and a couple of pieces that have poked their way out but kind of got buried as I'm continuing to wash away that black sand. So I think that we might clean up pretty good here, but we'll see once we get this this ridge cleaned up here. We ended up with about another 14 pieces of color there. A few of them not too bad, kind of chunky little pieces there, fly poop, you know, gold. But all in all, not too bad for a, what is that, probably a 3-gallon bucket of material. So about 35 colors overall. That's not bad at all for Michigan. I'm gonna definitely have to figure out where that bucket came from exactly from my friend that grabbed it for me, and we're gonna get back out to that spot and we're gonna try that out here in the near future. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button and consider becoming a subscriber to my channel. Thanks.